What's up, y'all? It's Flawed by Birth here. I'm here with a bass tutorial for y'all for a song that I have called Obsession. Some people have been asking me to drop a tutorial for the bass line, and I thought, why don't we go ahead and do it? Alright, so it's pretty simple. You want to use 3rd fret A string on with your pointer finger, and then you want to go to your 5th fret of the A string with your ring finger, and then you go down and you go to the G string on the 3rd fret, and you do another hit, and then you go back a half step, and then once you go back the half step, you go back to the A string on the 3rd fret. So it's just as simple. Basically got it. After you do, then you want to get down to the 1st fret on the A string and just hit the right like that, and then you kind of just put it together. Simple, kind of just like that. You land on the note. It's pretty simple. Slow it down if you like to. But once you do that quick little trill, then you come back into this. The first part is basically the same. It's pretty similar. You go back to the 3rd and 5th on the A string, and then you go down to the 3rd and 5th on the G, and then after that you go up a whole step, and then go back down a whole step. Alright, so I'm gonna play that again. And one thing that I want to state is when you come down to the G string and you do the 3/5, you do the 3/5, you don't want to pluck. You only pluck once. You just hammer down on the 5, and you do the same thing for the A string as well. You don't pluck on the 2nd note. You only pluck on the 3, and then you go down to the 5 and just hammer down with your ring finger. But you do pluck on like the standalone notes, like this note over here or this note over here. So one pluck over here and then one pluck. Alright, and then when it comes down to the 2nd trill, alright, you go back down, and then you just play. It's basically the same thing, but you don't play the 3/5 on the A. You only play the 3/5 on the G, and then you go up. You do the whole step up, and it'll just go like this. Alright, so it'll be 3/5, no hammer, hammer, my bad. 3/5, hammer, whole step up, whole step back down. Pretty simple. So that for that note, this note right here, you go up on the G for the 5th fret. So it's a pretty simple. And then you do a nice little slide at the end. Alright, so I'm gonna play through the whole intro again for y'all. So I'm gonna do it really slowly so you guys can play along, and then I'm gonna move on to the verse. Alright, pretty simple. With the slide, you want to kind of bring yourself, like, you want to slide like from up here and go as fast as you can. But I'm gonna play the verse for y'all real quick. Alright, pretty simple. When it comes down to the verse, it's basically a very repetitive motion, but when you start it, there's two ways you can start it. So you want to start with the hit on the 5th fret of the A string, 5th fret on the A string, and then you want to go up to the 6th fret on the E string. So, alright, so it's a A string, 5th fret, E string, 6th fret, and then you bring it back down to the A string. You know what I'm saying? That's it, all right there. Right there. And then once you do that, you bring it back down to the 3 on the A string. So it's a quick little, you know what I'm saying? You can go ahead and play that like a couple times. And best practice if you're like a beginner bass player and you're not really well versed in bass playing and you don't really know where to start, I would say the best thing to do is take it quick, like take it in little bursts of sections, just focus on the intro, play that really slowly until you get it, then come back for the verse and come back for the chorus. And honestly, that's like the best way to learn. But if you're not beginner, then you know, you skip through, you'll get it. I probably played it in the beginning, you probably already got it. But yeah, basically a nice little, it's a 5-6, 5 on the A, 6 on the E, and then back to the 5 on the A, and then bring it back down to the 3 on the A as well. Alright, I'm gonna play that again. Right? And then you want to do that hammer on that we did in the intro, that little 3-5 hammer on, and you're doing that as a pickup to the 3rd on the E. So it's like a, alright, and then once you do that pickup, you kind of want to do those 2 notes right there. So you want to do the 5th, so you come in and you do the pickup on the 3-5 with the A like you did in the intro, and then you want to also do basically the same thing, but you don't hammer on. You'll fully press down the note, and after you do the 5 on the E string of the note, 5 right here, then you bring it back down to the 6 with your pinky finger. So you're going, so, and then you slide your pinky finger down to the 8 and you do another hit. And then you just basically do the same thing again. And then it's the same thing again, but we changed the intro just a little bit. Instead of doing the 5 on the A and then the 6 on the E, we go 5 on the A and we do a nice little pop on this G string on the 7th fret. So just like that. So it's the same exact thing that you learned in the intro part with the 3, with the 5, and then it goes down to the 3, and then you go up to the E and you do that whole mess, but you change that intro note from the 6 to the 5 to the 5 to the 7, the pop on the 7. And then you can add tastefully what you like. If you know your scales, then you can kind of like fill it around. I'll throw out the scale down here. I don't know it off the top of my head, but yeah, it's pretty simple, just like the key to this bass line, I think, is you want to keep it like nice and rhythmic, and you know what I'm saying, I think it's the key with every bass line. You kind of just have to listen to the song and know what is needed of you, because it's really easy to like overplay this and like play the fuck out of it, but you know you take away from the vocals and the whole instrumentation. So, you know, take it slow, take the seat back, and just like play along to it. Alright, so for the chorus, it's pretty simple. Once again, you want to start on, so after you do the whole verse, you hit this little the 6. You don't, sometimes I think you can hit the 8. You can hit the 8, but sometimes I like to hit just the 6 as well, and then go down to the 5, go down to the 1 on the E. So when you do the 1 on the E, you want to go, so it's a quick little, it's a 1-3 like simple bass pop. Alright, so pretty simple. E on the 1, and then on the E string on the 1st fret, and then you want to go down to the G on the 3rd fret to get that nice little pop in there. You know what I'm saying? And then you do the same thing. You bring that whole thing down a whole step, and you do the same thing. But it's a pretty simple like. You bring it down by just a hammer on. Down. Little like. So for this little so when you bring it down the whole step and you do the same exact thing, instead of what you would think is to bring it down another whole 2 steps, you want to bring it down like a whole step and a half. So you're doing a, so you're bringing it from the 3 and you're going all the way down to the 6. Alright, so it's then you go back down to the 5. And then you do that, the 5 pops again. And then you bring it back down to the 3. And then it's basically what you do in the verse, that little 5, 6, 8 little that little thing. And then it's, you just do that again. So but yeah, that's basically Obsession by Flawed by Birth. Once again, just want to preface this by saying this isn't exactly what is played on the record. What was played on the record was improvisation, so there's a lot of just playing trills and soloing, and a lot of just messing around with the scale. But however, if you do play this, you'll have no issue with the song. It's basically the same thing. It's kind of like, I kind of just took what Gabe did and just made it really simple for everybody else to play. And yeah, that's that. I hope you guys enjoy. Please let me know if you want to let me know if you want a tutorial for the piano, the piano chords, or if you just want me to drop the piano chords in a little Instagram post or something. I can also do that. And let me know if you like if you like when I make videos like these as well. And y'all have a good one. Peace.